Do you remember the days of Napster, MP3s, CD burners? Well, we're going to be talking all about that from a Canadian perspective from the 90s through the early 2000s. Track Changes, the origin story of Canadian music on the internet, 1990 to 2010, is a new nonfiction book by Toronto based writer Cam Gordon, and we're going to find out more. Hang on. Pretty excited about today's topic. It's all to do with music and how the digital era and the internet transformed it, and specifically here in Canada. I've got Cam Gordon with me today. Thanks for coming on the program.
Good to see you again, Mike.
Cam is the author of a new book called Track Changes, and this is the origin story of Canadian music on the internet from 1990 to 2010. You picked 20 years.
I tried to be very literal than the title, but yeah, it's pretty much last decade of the last century, first decade of this century, and all the things that happen in terms of the internet, consumer technology, and its impact on Canadian music for the fans, the artists, and the labels.
Before we get into this, I just want to give the listeners and the viewers just kind of a quick rundown of why we should care about why you wrote this book. Like, what is your background?
Yeah.
I've known you for many years.
I was going to say, full disclosure, I've known you, Mike, more from the PR side.
Yeah.
So my whole background, for the listeners, is in communication. So most famously, I worked at Twitter for many years as its first and probably historically will be its only ever comms person in Canada. So I did that for about 8 years. I've also worked at Rogers, and then I did work for agencies for many years where I did a lot of stuff in consumer technology. Bulk of that time actually I spent with LG Electronics. So this is the flip phone era, probably where you and I met, Mike, for the first time. I was that guy, annoying guy in your email, pitching on the latest LG cell phones and LCD televisions back in the day.
So I'm a big music guy. I've had all the iPods, and
Sure.
I was in early with things like Napster and,
Okay.
and downloading like MP3s from Usenet.
Yeah,
even.
sure.
So
Yeah.
What motivated you to write this book? Like, what passion?
Yeah, I mean, like a lot of people who end up in comms, I always wanted to be a journalist. And like a lot of people who, either were journalists or want to be a journalist, I always wanted to write a book. I just didn't know what the topic was. So I'd worked in technology for a long time. I'd worked for, one of the biggest social media companies on the planet, Twitter, for so many years. So I had that whole background. But then on the side, I spent years writing about music, just freelance. I've written for Chart Magazine. I've written for a number of websites that went away. So some of the names, Soulshine, from here in Vancouver, like The Nerve. I've written a bit of stuff for the Toronto Star. But more than anything, I was just a music fan. So when I started to think about, book ideas, and then, I started thinking about all the technology that I used to use to listen to music. Like you, I had many iPods. I was on the message boards. We grew up with the AOL household, so we had those coveted 5 hours a month. I was on the blogs. I was doing the Hype Machine, all the blog aggregators, and reading Pitchfork. And it's here in Canada, there's actually nothing that's covered this era. This is something that we all lived through and experienced, but there's no real singular narrative and certainly no history of this. And I mean, this book too, this could be several chapters because it's a huge topic. Obviously the impact of the internet on whatever. I chose music because I'm passionate about music.